So let's talk about The Stranger. How did you get involved with it? Was it written specifically for you, or did you have to kind of go through an audition process or something?
No, it wasn't written for me. Somebody brought us a script, and then we rounded up the money and made the movie. I really enjoyed the script when I read it, and then it was just kind of a different movie than the movies that I've done lately,
right.
or period. It's not like I have a vast catalog of movies yet, but a chance, to show a different side of myself and try to push the envelope as far as, as I try to transition more and more into being, an actor, and to get away from just physicality and fight sequences, and just try to push the acting envelope a little bit further, and that's really what appealed to me about the movie.
Cool. Now, and what do you find more challenging than the hardcore action scenes, or the acting dialogue scenes?
I love acting dialogue scenes, and I love action too. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle on that, but this was a movie which I had way more dialogue in movies that I've done in the past, and while I enjoy doing the action movies, and I hope I get to do a bunch more, I also would like to do movies which don't require all the physical, the physicality and just. I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to try to improve as an actor and be as good as an actor as I can be.
Right.
But I also want to push the envelope and try to do some comedy and some humor, because in my own life I laugh my ass off every day,
right.
and I consider myself more of a comedian than a tough guy.
Right.
So anyway, I just have an open mind and to being able to do any kind of stuff. But if I'm lucky enough to make 20 more action movies, I'm a lucky guy.
Absolutely. Which, that leads to one of my questions I was going to ask is, you have this reputation, this kind of on-screen persona of being this, ultimate badass.
Yeah.
How much of you do you bring to your characters? How much of the real Steve Austin do you get to kind of let through?
Man, it's not that I think that I am bringing as much as of Steve Austin as I can in my character. But I think because I was so effective at being Stone Cold Steve Austin,
right.
I think I'm always going to be judged on that.
Right.
Or that people are always going to have that in the back of their mind and not be able to let go of it.
Sure.
I loved being Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
But I'm not trying to be that guy anymore. A big part of my personality, is that guy. I mean, if you see Robert De Niro in a movie, he's always Robert De Niro in a movie.
Right.
No matter what the character is,
right.
That's Robert De Niro. So, whether you call me Stone Cold Steve Austin or Steve Austin, that guy was a part of who I am, but not necessarily who and what I am.
Right. Now, in this film, I noticed you had a number of scenes you had to speak Spanish and then Russian. Was that difficult for you? Did you have to do a lot of training for that?
Man, this movie, by the time we looked at this, and it just seemed like I accepted the movie, and the next day we were shooting it.
Right.
There wasn't a whole lot of prep time on that, because we were actually, considering not doing that. And then Rob Lieberman, the director, said, "No, I think we should use it." I think, well, I like that. And so, there for 3 days, you're sitting with a tape recorder and a phonetic sheet, cramming,
right,
and learning how to speak a language. I mean, basically, you're just making noises because you don't know what the words mean.
Right.
So, and while on one hand, that was one of the things that really appealed to me as far as doing the movie, actually being able to prep for it was a whole different ballgame.
Now, you mentioned earlier about trying to kind of get away a little bit from the Stone Cold persona. How difficult has it been for you to make the transition from wrestling to acting?
Well, I think it's all in just, I can't say, if it wasn't for my career, I probably wouldn't have done what I've done. So, right. I mean, my career has gotten me what I've done before, so far as far as films.
Right. Is it tough to get people to look at you as an actor now as opposed to just a wrestler? Is that a challenge you're facing on a regular basis?
No, not really. I think I've really gotten past the biggest part of that. I mean, my name will get me a lot of meetings.
Sure.
But and I do have a built-in kind of a built-in audience still. I still have my hardcore fans, but I'm also trying to grow a fan base which never knew of me as a wrestler.
Right.
But it's interesting coming. I've been gone from wrestling long enough that I'm still considered a wrestler, but kind of in a different vein than when I first started trying to get into acting.
Right. Now, I imagine that your hardcore fans are following you to these films, and you mentioned trying to build up a fan base outside of wrestling. How has the reaction been from people who don't know you from wrestling? Are you getting positive feedback on your films from them?
You know what? I don't look too much at feedback. I do my movies, I study them, I watch them, and then I move on. I got into that habit years ago when I was in the wrestling business, and I was the hottest thing on 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
You could read 1 million good things about you, but you read the one bad thing about you, and that sticks with you all day.
Right.
It's the entertainment business.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have thick skin, and I do. But that being said, I don't go out of my way to look for pats on the back or punishment.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you're modeling your acting career after? Are you looking at anyone's career who's come before you and kind of trying to emulate that, or are you just pretty much going your own way?
Trying to go my own way. When you look back at, I think today's business is different from, when Stallone and Schwarzenegger and those guys got their start. It's just a different day and age.
Right.
And, they had some trademark movie rules, which really put them on the map. And I think I'm not trying to model myself after anybody, but it's always trying to be, find that just tailor-made script which fits you to a T, which you can truly knock out of the park.
Right.
And just kind of, sets the standard for you. And that's what I'm always in search of. I'm not really trying to model myself after anybody. I know that, I'm not going to be Tom Cruise. I'm not going to be Johnny Depp. I'm not going to be Schwarzenegger. I've got to be the best Steve Austin I can be. And what that means yet, we don't know.
Right.
We will in a few years.
Sounds good. Now, in The Stranger, you do your fair amount of ass kicking, but you also, you get manhandled quite a bit. Did you run any problems on the set? Did you get any injuries or any mishaps?
No mishaps. Well, actually, there was a mishap on this movie. I was running from Adam Beach, who was firing a gun at me, and we were working at an old sawmill, and I ran headfirst into a steel I-beam, which was about 5-6 feet off the ground, and I have a big scar on my forehead now.
Wow. From
that thing, and I hit that steel beam running about half speed. I mean, it knocked the hell out of me, and my head immediately swelled up.
Wow.
I mean, like a balloon. Took me to the emergency room, passed all the examinations.
Right.
Now, it didn't bust me open.
Right.
I left a layer of skin on the I-beam, which is why I have the scar on my head today, which is very noticeable if you've seen the recent photos of me.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, went back to the set. That was the torture scene was coming up.
Right.
And Rob Lieberman says, we were only needed about 3 or 4 more days to complete the movie. Didn't want to put the project on hold and all that other stuff.
Right.
So Rob said, Steve, I can shoot around you for about 3.5 hours if you can lay in your trailer and get your wits about you. So I said, okay.
Wow.
And basically I laid around for 3.5 hours and with an ice bag on my head and went back to work. That was the only incident that happened on that. Nothing happened with the fighting or physicality, which I always enjoy that stuff.
Sure.
But I'll never run into another steel I-beam again, I'll tell you that much.
I'm sure. How comfortable are you working with firearms? I know you shot a lot of guns in this movie, and that's obviously something completely removed from wrestling. Is it new to you, or are you familiar with guns in general?
No, firearms are a big part of my life.
Ah.
Lifelong hunter and avid outdoorsman since I was a kid, and my dad used to drag us through the woods, me and my brothers.
Right.
And I go to the SHOT Show in Las Vegas every year. They have it. Mm-hmm. And many of my friends are police officers or people who are in shooting sports. So I actually shoot a lot of guns in my private time, and I probably have, 50 guns.
Cool.
So that's something I'm very interested in.
All right, well, I think I'm running out of time, so let me ask you, what else do you have coming out that we can look forward to?
I have a movie called Hunt to Kill, which is a straight-up ass-kicking action movie, and I enjoyed filming that one. So The Stranger's a little different kind of a movie. This is a straight-up action movie, and I am in Sylvester Stallone's movie, which comes out in August, called The Expendables.
That must have been fun to shoot.
It was an absolute blast to shoot and a pleasure to work with one of my favorite guys, Sylvester Stallone.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, Steve, so much for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
No problem. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.